It is a tree of life for those who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. The Torah is often called a tree of life. And in this week's parsha, Bereishit, we read about the tree of life and the tree of knowledge that were planted in the Garden of Eden by God after creation. Now, I wonder, why was the Torah called a tree of life and not a tree of knowledge? If there were two trees to choose from, wouldn't you call the Torah a tree of knowledge? After all, the Torah is full of wisdom. Well, that line, "it is a tree of life for those who hold fast to it," comes from Proverbs, where it also says that God planted the earth with wisdom. I think what we are meant to learn is that the Torah is a source, and wisdom is a source of life, and not just of knowledge, not just something that's limited to our mind, but actually something that encompasses all of our lives. That we can in fact make our lives by Torah, by completing mitzvot, by celebrating holidays, by doing puru orvu, by building our families, as it also says in this week's parsha. All of these aspects of life are encompassed in Torah and what it teaches us. There's also a saying in the Talmud, "Im ein kemach ein Torah, ve'im ein Torah ein kemach." If there is no flour, which is to say livelihood, then there is no Torah. And if there is no Torah, then there is no livelihood. This saying shows us the interrelationship of Torah and livelihood, that we can't build our lives and create our livelihoods without the guidance and the wisdom of Torah. And similarly, the Torah would not exist in a vacuum. It would not exist without our livelihoods to give it meaning and to give it purpose in the world. And so on this Shabbat Bereishit, I wish for us that we live lives of meaning that are connected to Torah, and that we enliven the Torah with our very livelihood as we live our lives. Shabbat Shalom.